Yo, what is up boys, and welcome back to yet another video on SCUM. This is my second video I'm ever making on SCUM. My first video I made just over a year ago, and hopefully in this video, if you don't know anything about the game, I'll tell you pretty much everything you do need to know. Or if you already do know a decent amount, then maybe you'll learn a thing or two throughout this video, and also I can of course share my opinion on all of this stuff. So the video which you're watching right now was made yesterday, and I'd recommend you guys all go and watch this gameplay trailer yourself. There'll be a link to it in the description below, but I'm going to be commentating over it, sharing my opinions, and like I said, trying to tell you guys some things which maybe you do or don't know about this game already. There's a reason I've titled this video as The DayZ Killer. If there's any game which is ever going to dethrone DayZ, which isn't exactly on the most prestigious throne ever, with obviously constant letdowns and delays and stuff like that, although the game is looking pretty decent in 063, it's going to be SCUM. This game seems to do a lot of things similar to DayZ. Yes, there are zombies. Yes, it's an open world with survival mechanics and the possibility of PvP, and actually even PvE, ignoring the zombie threat, with wolves and bears being predators, which we already have seen in the game videos before, and also which are shown in this gameplay video we're watching right now later on. And although this game has had a delay with its original release date being in 2017, the current release date on their Steam page is actually Q2 2018. I've got a decent suspicion that this might actually be pushed back to further, but still it does look like we're coming really close. Obviously showing off the character creation screen right now, looking really impressive with small details made, you know, for the aesthetic awesome look of the character creation screen, but also there's actual functionality with the age, the body type, the attribute types, the skills, which you'll see in a second, tattoos, head type. All of this stuff works completely. You'll see this video is like 12 minutes long. I'd recommend watching the full unedited one in the description as well, but it just seems to all work. There's not like any questionable, like, oh, they edited this out and they did it by typing some code in or something. It just looks like an actual functional menu, which is awesome to see. Don't get me wrong, this game could be a disappointment, as most survival games have been throughout the past few years, but it seems like the developers are actually taking the time. We've got a good publisher publishing that game, Devolver, and also the developers follow me on Twitter, so that made me happy, and that's actually a bit better than a DayZ dev team because they don't follow me, and it broke my heart a bit, to be honest. But anyway, onto the gameplay side of things. This video pretty much only shows off the skill system. I'll show you guys some other stuff, some older gameplay videos later on during this video. But this video, which you're watching right now, which will be like the top link in the description, shows off pretty much just skills and how they compare if you are higher in one skill than another player. Obviously, being higher in strength and other attributes will physically make your character look more muscular, or he will be more fat if you are lacking in other attributes. And they will also have an actual in-game impact on your character. And from what I understand as well, it is also possible to increase these skills throughout your gameplay. So it's not like you'll choose them every start of your character and that'll be that. Even if, obviously, you know, it's a survival game, there's not really too many goals other than running around shooting people and surviving. There's still the skills to level up and the progression to be made with the characters. Whether that's a permanent impact on the world, as in you'd have a character which is, you know, really strong, really intelligent, and then you die and that would all be reset, or maybe you only lose a bit of it. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it would be pretty cool though in my eyes. That way, obviously, you would value your character's life a lot more than in a normal survival game where these things simply don't exist with skill systems. Also, a bit more backstory on the game, since it is a bit confusing as to what the actual game is in terms of the lore behind it. Why is the zombies in? I don't know if the zombies were introduced later on during the timeline of this game, but it does seem like there's definitely zombies in it. I could be wrong. But yeah, essentially the idea behind this game is there is a TV channel or a TV network, I guess, called Tech One, which are on season 2 of their TV show called SCUM, in which there's a bunch of people on an island, a bunch of prisoners, and they have to survive and kill each other and stuff, and that's pretty much it. It does remind me a bit of SOS, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near similar in terms of that way. I don't know everything about this game, but I don't think it's going to be like you hop into a game, it's a 30-minute game, and that's that. It does seem like a kind of game which is going to last a lot longer, considering they do show cooking skills and other kind of stuff later on during this video. So it's not like it's going to be a battle royale game, although who knows with these games these days. It could turn into that later on. Someone did also question, why would you be able to choose your stats when you can just max out all your stats? Obviously, with the character creation screen, you aren't going to max out everything. You can get, you know, higher in one stat and then lower in one stat, but ultimately you've only got a certain amount of skill points to spread among these 4 main skills, which you just want to find, I guess, an equilibrium which you're happy with, which will work for your character. So right here you can see some more skill comparison with obviously the player which we're watching right now being someone who could sprint a decent amount faster than this big fatty in front of us. So I'm not sure if maybe if you eat unhealthy food in the game that's going to have a negative toll on your stats as well. But it does seem like with complicated skill systems you'll see the pop up several times throughout this video where it shows heartbeat and a million other stats. It does seem like we've got these things actually physically ready and working in the game, which is really cool to see. And you can even see the player right here being sick after running for a bit too long, and he's a bit fat, you know. But it's okay to be fat, guys. I'm sure there's advantages, like you'll take more bullets. I'm just kidding. So the age slider as well, you can see has some different advantages and disadvantages. So if you turn your slider up, then you will get things like increased intelligence but lower strength, because obviously everyone knows that 40-year-olds are 200 IQ human beings. I think it's pretty impressive in a gameplay video to be able to make a 12-minute video of pretty much purely just showing off the stats. Again, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this game. As always with any game, you probably haven't seen this trailer yet since it was just released, but it does kind of get me excited for the game's release. Whether it's in Q2 or a bit after that, I don't really know, but yeah, we'll see. This clip right here shows the introduction of the skill system along with a higher dexterity. So if you've got a high dexterity and a high handgun skill, then you're able to reload very, very fast. If you've got low dexterity but still high handgun skill, then you'll be able to reload a decent amount faster than a normal player. And you can see basically the 4 attributes: strength, constitution, dexterity, and intelligence. These actually, if you press the next button, feed into 4 different skills trees. So when you are choosing your character's attributes right here, you could make it so if you've got, you know, higher rifle skill, for example, if you do have a bunch of strength points to spend, if you put most of your points into strength originally, and then you'll be able to do exactly what you just seen a few seconds ago with a pistol. And this goes into a bunch of different skill trees. Some of them are grayed out, I'm guessing because those things aren't actually in the game. I'm not entirely sure whether handguns isn't, but you can see like driving, motorcycling, piloting, sailing. They've got some very big ideas for this game. I don't really know how far they're going to go with it, but I don't think we're going to see any vehicles on the initial release. We haven't shown off anything of that kind of stuff. But you'll see you've got the 4 main pegs with all of these, where you've got basic, medium, and an advanced training. And I think in the video we mentioned advanced plus as well, whatever the hell that means. So you will be able to work on these throughout your character's lifespan, or if not that, at least you'll be able to obviously choose them when you first create your character. And I don't know, there's a lot of diversity with those kind of systems where you do have the skills. You can really have hundreds of different combinations of characters. However you want to play, you can play it. If you want to be a big fatty, you can do it. You can have your points in other things such as intelligence, and have other advantages with sniping and your awareness, which I think was actually something they shown earlier, where you could kind of wall hack a few videos ago. Kind of complicated to explain, but yeah. I don't really feel that was a good idea, but whatever, maybe it'll be removed. But you'll see right here, they show some more debug-esque stuff. In here, they are showing the running skill increasing, so when you're running, or doing whatever else in the world, farming, or cooking, or whatever, or lifting weights, as we've shown in the video earlier, you'll be able to slowly progress your skills, which is pretty cool. Also, you guys might have missed it earlier on in this video, but they did also actually move the mouse cursor around the dude's head at the start, which reminded me a lot about Mario 64. It's cool to see the small details all working in the character creation screen. I've never really seen like a survival game with a better, more detailed character creation screen. So that's cool to see. Right here, they show off a bit of the ingredients you're going to find in the world and some cooking stuff. So you can see some rabbit meat right here. Obviously, there's a decent amount of animals in the game. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's enough for, you know, an early access release, as this is going to be inevitably. And you can see right here the difference between having a low cooking skill and having a high cooking skill. So you can make things like pizza, sweet and sour, spaghetti, and all that kind of stuff. So even the small details with the cooking skill being basic versus advanced, still big differences. Over here we see the dexterity difference again, and also the survival difference, where you can cut down objects a lot quicker, or not objects, but bushes. And you can also use several different things to cut these bushes as well, and as you'll see in a few seconds, like a knife or an axe, and depending on what you're using, it will chop down quicker. Again, nothing amazing, but it's nice to see the small details have been considered and are functional in the game. Obviously this isn't some kind of unedited raw gameplay video right here, but you can admit that the stuff right here is still looking pretty cool. But you can see we've got a stone knife even versus a small axe, with level 1 cutting tool being the stone knife versus level 4 cutting tool of the small axe. So come down a lot quicker. There's so many small things in the game which are not seen in this video, which I can just talk about all day. If it's raining and you don't have a raincoat on, you'll see the character has weight on the items in the inventory, and also things which you pick up have weight as well. And you can also see they collected more from that bush as well. But if you've got a raincoat on, your clothes underneath will not get wet, or if you do have a raincoat on, your clothes underneath will stay dry and they'll stay lighter, and that will impact your weight and will obviously decrease or increase your movement speed. It's the same if you go inside water as well. This is something we've seen in DayZ Standalone already, but it does seem a bit more fleshed out in this game. Anyway, the person who made this video pressed the randomize button on both the character creation and also the stats, and that is pretty much it for the video. The rest of it is literally just them chilling by a fire with a wolf and some toilet paper for some reason, and they play a song. Seems a bit unnecessary, but I thought it was pretty comedic, and it's nice to see some cool assets in the game right here. Seeing the wonderful looking fireplace, hearing the guitar, let's just turn it up a bit, and it's beautiful really. You know, again, go watch a full video if you want to see that, but we're going to go delve into other gameplay mechanics and talk about other stuff which I have not covered before. Anyway, on to the next video, because don't you worry, there is more stuff to talk about. In fact, I'm even going to be missing out on some stuff because ultimately there's more videos than honestly I have time to talk about, or I have the care to talk about. But I'll have links to my YouTube channel, and I'll have all of these videos that I've seen. This is the second video, of course, listed in order in the description. This video right here pretty much, at the start at least, shows the climbing and vaulting system. And again, this does play into the character stats, the character's weight, if you are carrying a backpack with more stuff inside it. I don't know, I even had doubts about the zombies, considering I've seen this video before, but you can see the zombies in the world right now as well, which look very, very nice. I don't know, I like the way the zombies are animated. Obviously, when you're making zombies in games, you've got a few different kind of styles that you could go for. These kind of remind me of like Resident Evil kind of zombies. The DayZ zombies, I don't like them that much. They work, I guess, but they do have a lot of issues still with, you know, running through walls and all that kind of stuff. Even in the 063 build, which I just played the other day, it was still an issue. Right here we see the issue comparison with other survival games, where a lot of the time the doors will block you. Just a small thing, but you know, it happens in these survival games. There is doors which work in this game, and they seem to work pretty good. You press F, and then they open. Really, the idea behind all of this is trying to make the player movement fluid and just a smooth experience, not a clunky one. Not naming any names, but obviously there is some definitely clunky experiences out there in the survival genre. In fact, there's more than one title which has that issue because of the complexity which needs to be put in to make the survival mechanic an actual enjoyable one. You can see the character opening up some doors right here. You can see some decently dark interiors. This game is, I believe, on Unreal Engine. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, I do definitely like the engine choice, and the actual lighting and stuff like that in the game looks pretty nice. And right here we see the difference between a big fat character again and a thin character. You can see stats like body fat being tracked, weight, height, all that kind of stuff. So this character is going to be a lot faster than the fat character. And then next we get a comparison of a fully geared character with a character with very little gear. So I can't think of any other game which has this kind of system. I know 063 DayZ, the main comparison since it's in the title, is it has a stamina system now. I don't really like it that much though, but I guess this game is going to have a similar stamina system. But not only will it impact simply being able to sprint or not sprint, or how long you can sprint for, but it will also impact purely your character's speed, which is really awesome as well. All of these small details add up to make a really good foundation for a survival game. I think they could have pushed out this game earlier with less features, less weapons, less animals, but they have been patient, and it looks like the initial early access product is going to be one which has a lot of content in it in terms of items and, you know, leveling up your character, exploring the world and everything for us to see there. How exactly the whole, you know, Tech 1 system works, I don't really know if it even has any real relevance in the game other than a bit of backstory. But yeah, you can see why I'm excited for this game now, hopefully. Although you probably realize already. But I have name dropped this game a bunch of times in the past in a few other videos, in fact just a few days ago, talking about the games that I'm excited for this year. This is one of the 2 games which I'm definitely excited for and have some kind of relevance on my channel, I think. The other one being, of course, Identity, but purely in terms of looking at the gameplay, in terms of what we can actually do on the initial release, it looks like you're going to be able to do a lot more in this game than you are going to be able to do in Identity. But they are completely different games, so it's an unfair comparison, I guess. But one thing, I'm not going to lie, I don't like about the game, but it might be changed. Oh, I guess 2 things. The wall hack thing, which I might show later on in this video, I'm not really sure. We'll see. And also, the gun combat doesn't seem amazing, honestly. But at the same time, it doesn't look terrible. We actually see something here. I don't think I actually watched this video all the way to the end before to see. But we do have it looks like at least, a procedural stand system, I guess, similar to that of Arma 3, where you can stand a bunch of stances, and also you will see, obviously, leaning is in the game, something which isn't actually in DayZ 063 right now. Honestly, in an ideal world, from the complications of third person and the whole wall hack system, which I will show later on in this video, I'd rather if it just isn't third person in a game like this, but I guess it does play into the skill system, and it does make you feel a bit less claustrophobic, so whatever. But ultimately, there is obviously the choice to go first person, and I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard considering the models and the, you know, actual weapon ADSing and stuff like that all works, to make it so it is a first person only server. But at the end of the day, when I do eventually come into playing this game, I will stick to third person, don't get me wrong. Showing off a bit of a depth of field right here with third person as well. The next video I'm just going to speed through because I've already talked about it, but basically this video is dedicated to the wet system. So you'll see quickly the character who doesn't have a raincoat on gets wet and his clothes are heavier with exactly the same outfit. And the same thing with water, your outfit gets heavier. It's a pretty complicated system, but honestly I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but it is cool again that we have considered these complicated systems. And also they mentioned that different material types will perform differently as well. So if you have a t-shirt or something that's going to get extremely wet, then obviously it's going to get wet. But if you've got something which is a bit more waterproof, then that will perform differently as well. One downfall I think with, like I said, a lot of these survival games find is complexity through the survival aspect of the game, since you kind of need that. The impact the gameplay too much, make it too clunky and complicated and ruin it. So I do hope that all these things aren't too annoying and clunky kind of thing. I don't want to have to be, you know, constantly looking at my menu and clicking loads of times on loads of bullshit, but we'll see how it performs in the actual game. If your character is only halfway submerged in the water as well, it will actually only make your pants wet rather than your entire body. Again, complexity. It's cool. I'll take it. You can, of course, just avoid the rain, as that's going to be the main thing which people are going to get wet through. I'm sure if there's that much of a disadvantage of jumping in water, people just won't do it unless you have to. There is also the alternative. If you do get your clothes wet by being out in the rain, you can just go ahead and go to a fire and dry your clothes off that way as well. You will also see a physical system which reminds me kind of Survivor Nights. Sorry to mention that game, although maybe we'll see it get dope one day, but seems unlikely. But when you drag something off your character, you can physically put it in the world. So things like base build and stuff like that, I don't know if that's really something we want to add into the game eventually, but it's nice if I can at least decorate your little area you've made and put things exactly the way you would like them to be. And you'll see through the time lapse right here, the character gets some dry clothes. Seems like the developers have got a big obsession over memes and also peeing on stuff. Not only do we see peeing at the end of that clip right there, but also they made a Santa clip where Santa was peeing or something. And then like some players spell out scum. I don't know. This video right here is actually incredibly old, but I wanted to show you it very, very briefly, just showing off the melee systems in the game. I don't really know in terms of melee weapons how many there is. I did see a baseball bat in a gameplay video ages ago. I'm sure it was a decent amount, but the main thing to know is when you punch people, it feels good and they get bloodied, so that's pretty cool. Also, a bit more insight on the wall hack thing. I've seen another video which I haven't actually seen before, but the thing in the back of your head is called a BCU. This is what is used to broadcast your character's statistics, so that's why you can see like the kind of debug thing on the left side sometimes in these videos. That's the roleplay reason, I guess, as to how you know all these things about your character, their calorie intake and all that kind of stuff. And it's also used by the guys who are broadcasting the thing on Tech 1, the channel, Season 2, with SCUM on this new island. That's basically how that works, so yeah. My point of all of that is, although it seems maybe overpowered or unrealistic, ultimately all the characters are on the same network kind of thing, so it's not like just this magical wall hack thing. It kind of makes some sense. So I'll take it, and ultimately you do need a very high skill level to be able to wall hack for a long period of time, so it's not something that you're just going to spawn in and magically be able to track people through walls. So I wanted to very briefly show you guys this video as well. It's basically a preview of a camouflage, although I did make a longer video on this. This one basically just shows you the different kinds of camouflage that you can find in the world, and they work. That's pretty much it. Wow. So this is the wall hack part that I was talking about. This was in an awareness and tactics developer Q&A. This kind of answered a lot of the questions and a lot of the complaints a lot of people had about this little gameplay implementation. You can see why I don't exactly like it. It doesn't last the longest period of time. As you can see right there, the character just faded out just before you got around that corner, so it only does last a few seconds. And I guess this is the worst case scenario kind of thing, where you'll see this character with the highest level to demonstrate how exactly that gameplay mechanism does work. But ultimately, I'm sure in actual gameplay, they even mentioned in the video, you're not going to see something that you don't see kind of thing. So it's still going to have to be something you're going to have to directly look at to see. It's not like all of a sudden you're just walking through a city and you're going to see this red guy coming out of nowhere. But you can see the comparison again being made with the awareness level being very high versus no awareness at all. So it seems like a really, really important skill to level up, so you can wall hack the shit out of people. Hey, that's pretty good. Also, you can see this video is kind of old, but this is how the old character customization used to work just a few months ago. So it's cool to see the developers really making things a lot better pretty quickly. Anyway guys, at this point I think I've talked for way longer than I should have. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the game, any feedback and stuff like that. We'll really only have to wait to see how the game is. There's still some question marks, and with the never-ending disappointments that are survival games, I'm not really going into a few more details. This QA does also talk about things like when you die. So when you die, there's going to be eventually, probably not an early access build, but a fame system. So if you do develop, fame, obviously it's a TV show, by doing certain tasks throughout the world and killing all players who are famous, obviously a higher level player is going to give you more fame. You will be able to possibly resurrect your character, but other than that, your character's gonzo, and you have to start from scratch and continue grinding out with skills and fragging and whatever else. You also talk about how long a game session will last. This is something which we did actually show off a decent amount at PAX East, where it was more like a TDM kind of gameplay thing. It wasn't like an actual survival world, but there is also, along with just the basic TDM kind of thing in a city with objectives or whatever else, there is the normal survival gameplay mode where, it's going to be hundreds of hours of gameplay of just surviving. So it can be as long or as short as you do want it to be. So yeah, if you watched this video and you watched my previous video on SCUM, I've shown pretty much every single piece of gameplay I've ever shown, other than the SCUM PAX East gameplay, which was like 8 hours long or something, of people being able to play the game. That was cool to watch, but obviously this more so focuses on specific gameplay mechanics. This last one right here, showing off being able to lift weights as a skinny guy and a guy who isn't skinny. Who would have guessed again? The skinny guy, he isn't very good at lifting those weights. But anyway, thanks for watching. Love to hear what you guys think about the game. Excited for release. We'll be doing a big fat 24-hour stream on release. Here's hoping. But I don't know. 063 ain't nothing special. Also, quickly, I wanted to put it out there so I can come back to this video and be like, oh, I was right. I don't think 063 DayZ is coming out in 2018. Could be wrong, but I don't think it is, because it's miles out. But let's see. We've got another 7 months left. Yeah, good luck. Or 6, no, 7.